I feel like it's not going to be easy for the U.S. The U.S. hasn't been wowing as of recently, especially under Berhalter. The last time we were like, what a game, was Nations League, and that was not under Berhalter.
You can't slip up in this competition because this is the competition you've owned from its onset. The Nations League is our thing.
We've got Nations League semifinals coming up this week. On Thursday, the United States will face Jamaica and Panama take on Mexico. Our coverage starts at 6 p.m. Eastern from Dallas, Texas. And guess what? Guess who's going to be there? Nico and I.
Yeah.
We're heading to Dallas. You know what they say about Texas, Nico? Everything's bigger in Texas.
I need my camera.
I just want to know, what does that move symbolize to being big? Please explain.
Cowboy.
That's your cowboy.
I can't do it. I can't. I've got no full body shot.
Why don't saunter as you would into it?
Get up, go to the screen. Let me
show us how you would
I need
enter
to see this move.
the saloon.
Go,
I need to take this stuff out of my pocket so I can like properly.
The tight pants don't help.
Okay.
Jesus Christ, what are you doing in pants?
Ready?
What you doing in this town there, buckaroo?
Howdy, partner.
Oh my God.
Do I have to like?
Nico, what was
You look like you're learning to ice skate.
Jesus.
I don't know what it is. It just came to my mind. It's like
Your boots look a little uncomfortable. Why are you walking like that, son?
Is there something wrong with your groin or your buttocks?
Man, I feel like that cowboy done fell off his horse.
yeah.
Just bring me back a cowboy hat, please.
Okay, we'll do.
Cowboy
I'll appreciate a
hat.
cowboy hat.
I might even bring some boots. Who
No, I like
knows?
my hat.
Let's
Yeah?
get crazy. I do have cowboy boots.
You're going full character?
Well, hi. You know, Beyonce released her kind of like country
Awesome
album,
song.
and
Loved
which is
it.
No,
amazing. And so
can't
now
stand
it's
it.
like the whole cowboy vibe, which I've always enjoyed anyway.
So is Bad
is
Bunny, by
now
the
a
way.
thing. Honestly, I'm telling you.
going-
And then one of the Hadid sisters is dating a rodeo guy. So like cowboy chic is everywhere. You heard it here.
I'm
Morning
going to the
Footy.
Bad Bunny concert. My wife told me that I have to dress up like a cowboy. I'm like, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to show up to a reggaeton concert. Like, how y'all doing?
Howdy.
No,
We'll get
but you
you
would
some-
also crush it in
chaps.
fringe.
Thanks. Thank you.
I'm not a fringe
I don't
guy.
disagree.
You know what I'm talking about?
I'm down. Let's get matching cowboy hats.
I think we should. I think we should do
Yeah.
a whole little shopping trip.
I just said bring me
Turn
a cowboy
Nico into a
hat.
cowboy.
I like
We'll get
that.
you
Get
a
him like a
cowboy hat.
10-gallon
You know I
joint.
like my hats.
A Stetson. We'll get you a classy Stetson.
Bring me back a breakfast taco.
Barbecue. We're
That
gonna
and
eat some
barbecue.
barbecue.
On Friday, I think I found the place. I needed Alexis' stamp of approval.
I'm really
Dallas, though.
excited. Let's chat about the match. USA taking on Jamaica. Obviously, you expect them. I think the expectation is for them to win and to go on to the final. But Nico, in terms of the way they're playing, the way they're set up, the guys you want to see out there, what are your expectations for this performance from the U.S.?
I don't know if the U.S. fan base should set the expectations too high. I think when there's a trophy on the line, when there's
Do we do
significant
that?
points on the line, especially at home.
Wow, that's cold. The first segment.
Yeah. Win and go through to the next game.
Yeah.
You don't want to get stuck in the muck now. Like, you want this to be, it's going to be a hurdle. I feel like it's not going to be easy for the U.S.
No.
Not to underestimate Jamaica, who we all imagine, correct me if I'm wrong, is going to sit in a deeper block than any other opponent that the U.S. would face. I think that has a little bit of a higher caliber to approach the U.S. tactically with. And they're going to have to learn how to break that down. And the U.S. hasn't specifically been great at breaking down opponents with low blocks, or at least just doing it with ease. So we saw it in the friendlies leading up to where we are now, and then Trinidad and Tobago as well. It's get it done. I don't need to be wowed right now. I think we're getting too far ahead of ourselves. It's win first, and then if you can wow in the process, you can wow in the process. But the U.S. hasn't been wowing as of recently, especially under Berhalter. The last time we were like what a game, was Nations League, and that was not under Berhalter.
Yeah.
It was Berhalter adjacent.
But no,
BJ
but not even
Callahan.
Berhalter adjacent, because remember, he hadn't even been hired yet. the whole breaking news of Berhalter.
It happened at Nations League.
It happened, but that wasn't even official. So we can't assume that Berhalter was making those calls, you know, under the table.
It was
to
one of
BJ
his
Callahan.
assistants.
Right, but the thing is that we haven't seen a team play
Do
that
you agree
well.
with Nico?
I completely agree.
Yeah.
But I think Berhalter is now somewhat almost a prisoner of his success in this competition and the U.S.'s success in this competition, in particular the one we were at, where BJ Callahan took charge. You can't slip up in this competition because this is the competition you've owned from its onset. The Nations League is our thing. So now you have to win it and you have to look good, especially against what is slowly becoming a much bigger competitor for the U.S. and Jamaica.
What about, I was having this conversation, I forget with who I was having this conversation, but
your other buckaroo?
what about not winning it, but competing in the final? The final is minimum, right? But competing in the final, you can lose against Mexico.
Hold on, I want to answer.
Compete.
I get what you're saying.
Compete to and
I want to answer that with a question.
A great game, showing that you play, you know, just the football was good football.
Let's say that happens and we lose the final. Let's say the U.S. get into the final and we lose. How does that make you feel going into Copa America, where the competition is going to be even better? You have to win this.
Fine.
I don't care how you play.
That's fine.
You have to walk away with this
I would
trophy.
say in this whole thing, the US domestically on domestic soil have not lost in like about 31 matches or so when it comes in this competition and this region. US for me have the best squad. They are expected to win. That's just the reality and a simple fact. With the facilities, the players they got, the pool, they're expected to win this squad, this whole competition. Mexico, probably their biggest challenges. I think if they don't win it, it is going to be a big disappointment, like you said, going into Copa America, but the expectancy is there. But the reality of it is they shouldn't take teams lightly. Nico makes a great point. Jamaica, defensively, like to defend low, and they play counter-attacking football.
And
the thing is, they have
players.
the players to do that, which I don't like it, because I think for me it just relies too much on the athleticism and physicality of Jamaica, which I think it's an easy way to coach that team to play that style, but they're capable of. US only have Gio Reyna, who is that number 10, who can be that Antonio Griezmann for them to break teams down. You've only got one player, and if he's not playing well, they're going to find it very hard, because the rest of their players are very similar in the style of play, where other nations have different ability players, different number 10s, and can adapt to how teams do a low block in a system that needs to be broken down. But for me, when you look at this, I think that what America doesn't get sometimes is when you look at this region, US for me reminds me of playing in England under 21s, where whenever they play US, there's an extra element of competitiveness because they want to beat you, because they do look at the US national team as pampered boys from the suburbs, and compared to where they have to come from and the way they compete, they take it to another level. And it was the same when I played in England under 21s. My friends from Italy, Poland, wherever they came from, they always used to say, they don't care if they lose any other game internationally for the rest of the year. But when it came to playing against England, there was an extra element that they wanted to compete.
I think the United States knows that. Look how far along we are. These 23 guys know that they're the dogs
I know
beat.
they know that, but they have to take that onto a football pitch and not take teams lightly.
They've taken it for the last in the region for the last 2 or something years.
I'm going
to
do something that's going to surprise everyone. I'm going to agree with Nigel.
Yeah.
And I know that doesn't happen often. But I think there is still part of what I think you're saying is true, and I think what Nico's saying is true. I think the difference in what Nigel brings up is a good point where have we seen that on the pitch? Have we seen that grittiness to say, I'm going to fight you back as hard as you're fighting me? I don't think we often see that. We've seen in the past.
The only moments that I would say specifically against Canada, but against Mexico in Nations League and World Cup qualifiers.
A very injured Mexico. A Mexico that didn't come in with their best players. That didn't come in with
They did it twice against Mexico
absolutely.
in the Nations League.
And by the way, again, when we talked about how Berhalter doesn't have
that's not the US's
signature
fault.
wins, I'm like, beating Mexico twice in finals, to me, is a signature win. But in the last Nations League, that wasn't the level of Mexico.
I'm just saying, listen, it's great to be expected to win it, but you've got to go and do it. Do the work. Don't just talk about it and realize other nations are catching up. Other nations are sitting there. When you look at Jamaica, don't take them lightly now, because now they're gathering a lot of players from all over the place with that Jamaican ancestry that are playing for the national team now because other nations are picking up the level of professionalism.
I want to see the U.S. players
representing their nations.
I want to see the U.S. players walk in with a certain swagger that this is their competition, almost like how you did that walk over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just like
that's not going to be great. I don't think that's how you want the U.S. to walk in.
Like a penguin.
It's not going to be pretty. I think we can agree. It would impress me if the U.S. won and they won pretty. And they got the job done. They figured it out. They were able to unlock Jamaica.
Yeah.
Historically, it hasn't been like that. Maybe my expectation is, okay, win, and then, hey, if we can get it done pretty, let's get it done pretty, and then go into the final where I would imagine against Panama or Mexico, it'll be a little bit more expansive football both ways.
You want to feel good. You want to feel good heading into the summer,
right?
You want to go into a Copa America on a high and feeling like you own CONCACAF. We are the best team in CONCACAF. We are going to be a force to be reckoned with in this. And I think that is why this competition is important for the U.S. to kind of establish themselves as that.
100%.
The expectation is to win, but do it in a way that is convincing.
But then also, do not take opponents lightly.
Right.
And that's my point. You said about Jamaica, as much as we said, Jamaica is still a very dangerous nation. Don't take the... And Gregg's even said it. He knows it.
It's going to be a fun week. Thursday, y'all. Coverage starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. Nico and I are going to be on the sidelines for this one. USA taking on Jamaica at 7 and followed up by the other semifinal between Panama and Mexico at 10:15. Everything streaming on Paramount+.